Yo, what's good? This is going to be a great episode. So I'm glad all my intellectual savages out there are tuned in. Hey, today we're going to talk a little bit about primetime Deion Sanders, him leaving, coaching the HBCU, going on to bigger and better things. We're going to talk a little bit about the finances around it, but we're also going to talk about the hate. Deion been getting a lot of hate because he's leaving the HBCU to go on to bigger and better things out in Colorado. So we definitely gonna get onto that and just talk about it, see what it is. I'm gonna lay down some numbers and we're gonna have a few nice little clips to kind of break things down. As always, I'm Marcus. You're at the channel of the Debt Free Dad, where we're talking finances, financial education, financial literacy. That's the same thing. Financial takes, financial topics, attorney reactions. And I'm letting y'all know what we're doing over here at DFD's household because we are on that journey to financial freedom. It's almost time, that end of the year time where you got to close things out. But I thought this would be a fun topic to discuss and talk about. Before we get in, I always got to give the disclaimer. The disclaimer is, hey, I am a licensed attorney, but hey, I'm not your attorney, so this isn't legal or financial advice. I'm just letting y'all know what we got going on over here at the household of DVD. I'm bugging. What's wrong with me tonight? Okay, so let's talk about it. Deion Sanders is probably the greatest athlete, or maybe tied for the greatest athlete to ever play football. I mean, he played professional football, he played professional baseball, he played them actually at the same time. It would be like a football game here and a spring training there, and it was just crazy. It was very talented to do. Well, he's a Hall of Fame NFL player, but he found his way from the NFL to the Hall of Fame to the studio doing commentary on games to coaching. Now, I will tell you, when Deion started to go to HBCU, and I know because, hey, I'm a two-time HBCU graduate. Matter of fact, hey, my alma mater is going to be playing against Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl. So, hey, I'm really excited about that because we're going to send Deion out with a loss, but that's neither here nor there. Deion started in the coaching ranks. He started at a HBCU. Now, if you're not familiar with the finances and around college football and HBCUs, smaller schools, well, a lot of times smaller institutions do not have the funding that larger institutions have. One, they're much smaller. They don't have the alumni who can make those high multi-million dollar donations to build stadiums or steal money to build a stadium, a la Brett Favre. But a lot of times, smaller institutions, historically black colleges, aren't going to be able to compete just far as the coaching that they could provide, just far as the facilities they could buy, the training. It's just impossible because HBCUs do not make that much money. So I will tell you, when Deion started at HBCU, when he started at Jackson, he did kind of beat down that and sound that horn, so to speak. He talked a lot about how he wanted to, bring funding in for the school, get some recognition towards HBCUs, all good things. But he did kind of beat down that door before he started this job, as he wants to bring some awareness, some resources to HBCUs, because a lot of times HBCUs, smaller institutions, they get the bad end of the deal. That's just what it is. Now Deion is going on to bigger and better things. Hey, this dude is going to make a crap load of money, but he's getting a lot of hate. And oddly enough, he's getting a lot of hate from like people who look like the black community is talking about, oh, Deion's a sellout because he's leaving a historically black college, all those players who went there to play for him. And it's not like some Polish guy on the internet criticizing Deion. Nah, it's like people who look like me and you, black people, minorities, who are giving Deion the virtual beatdown, just trying to say that he's a sellout because he's leaving the HBCU to go to a non-HBCU, which is a bigger institution, a better opportunity, and he's making a lot more money. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I wanted to break down, let's just talk about the money that's going to be made. Now, we got to put this in the context. Everybody are used to seeing NFL athletes getting $120 million contracts, $50 million a year, $30 million a year. That's definitely somebody calling on the program. That's definitely not the case. If we look at what Deion Sanders made during his time in the NFL, it actually wasn't that much money. He made about $33 million during his entire NFL career. $33 million. $33 million is a gang of money. Trust me, it's a lot of money. I wish I had $33 million. But for NFL salaries compared to what they're making now, he only made $33 million during his entire playing career. Let's just say 17 of that $million. After you factor in taxes and everything, Deion only made $17 million. So, one, money does play a role in this decision. I think money does play a role in this decision. I actually pulled up an article, and it looks like at Jackson State, he was making about $300,000 per year. Now that he's going on to a bigger and better institution in Colorado, that money is going to be much, much more higher. So he's going from, again, he leaving Jackson State for Colorado. At Jackson State, Deion had an annual base salary of $300,000. At Colorado, Deion's annual base salary is north of $4.5 million a year. So when you talk about just the money impact of it, you got to think this is and I know I sincerely doubt that Deion Sanders is broke, but let's put this in the context. This is really outside of TV revenue, because when I talk about his money made in sports, he only probably walked away with 15 to 17 million dollars of all of those years playing in the NFL. So this is actually a big ass payday for him to go from $300,000 a year to $500,000 a year. So for one, it's weird when people give backlash, because the same people who probably saying Deion Sanders is a sellout are the same people who think Kanye West is mad pro-black. Like it's crazy how people who it's crazy how people think they can define what another person's blackness is, or what another person's contribution is to the culture. Let's put this in perspective, because as soon as I saw those salaries, the first thing I thought was, damn, okay, Deion is making way more money. How does this impact just from an economic standpoint? Well, of course, I had to pull some data up, because, anytime you get someone who's a big show, a big pool at a place, there's always going to be some increase in revenue. So I wanted to know, what was the increase in revenue just in the Jackson area for Deion Sanders being there? Because Deion Sanders did a lot. He brought a lot of institutions in. I think it was Pepsi or Coca-Cola, but one of them actually contributed to pay for the practice. He actually donated the vast majority of his salary back to the school, because the school didn't have things. He reached out to his friends. Retired NFL Hall of Famer Michael Strahan actually got some of the gear so the kids could be in uniform when they travel out. So he actually brought a lot of money, a lot of resources in from people making contributions, as well as external partners, brands who wanted to work with Deion. So based off of that, they did a lot for the school. But I found the interesting statistic that just talked about the number of money that was made during games since Deion Sanders has been there. And I thought this was interesting. Let's take a look at his impact. Okay. It's two reports from the Jackson Chambers of Commerce on financial impact in the city hosting the SWAC Championship and JSU's 4 home games at Veterans Memorial Stadiums. For 4 home games, approximately $16.2 million in revenue was generated for Jackson's businesses, a drastic increase from $7.2 million in 2017 prior to Deion getting there. Also in 2022, the SWAC football championship, approximately $8 million in revenue was generated. Hey, that goes to show that not only was he a good coach and doing good things for the students, trying to instill certain values, and that's the other thing. If my son was a ball player, the words of someone who's an NFL Hall of Famer would have more value when he came to sit on my couch or gave me a call to talk about how he wanted my son and how he could prepare my son to make it to the next level, but more importantly, prepare him with the tools that he needs in life. So I think Deion did a lot and was doing a lot outside of just the coaching for the culture as well. The other thing you got to think, Deion, hey, he got two sons. One of his sons is a quarterback at JSU. The other son is, I think, a linebacker at JSU. So I guess the one downside, I guess, I'm not gonna say downside because people are allowed to change their mind. But when Deion took that job, he was standing on the hill blowing the trumpet of, hey, I want to get equality for HBCUs. But people, you can think, and I don't know if you all never experienced this. I guess the best way to say it is a lot of times people think that they can make a change in a situation from being in position A, and then they realize, you know what, I can do position B outside of the entity that I worked in previously, and actually do more to push the culture forward, to push this cause forward. Every battle isn't fought from within the institution that you want to make change for. Just, that's just a food for thought. But I find it interesting how it's terrible how, black people think that they can make a determination of what qualifies or constitutes someone's contribution to blackness or being woke or being a sellout. It kind of get a little bit crazy. So I definitely don't take this as a sellout. One, from a financial standpoint, the dude gonna make $5 million a year when he only made, I think, $300,000 a year previously, half of which he donated back to the school. That's point number one. Point number two, let's think about this from a just common sense standpoint. Deion Sanders is coaching at Jackson State University. He has two sons there, a quarterback and a linebacker. One of his goals, the same way Deion Sanders cared about all those other kids who he coaches, you know what kids he cared most about? Them two that he had, his two kids. What is the best opportunity for him to put his kids in a position to be able to accomplish their dream of playing professional football in the NFL? Him coaching at a much larger institution. Can they go to the NFL from Jackson State? Yeah, they probably could. But hey, if they get an opportunity to perform on a bigger stage and show that they can compete at a higher level, that's going to be another win. I think the other thing too that we got to kind of think about when we're looking at this, and I got an interesting breakdown obligation that his tax obligations that he had when he was at Jackson State to his tax obligations that he is going to incur while he's, making almost $5 million a year in Colorado. And shout out to Pocket Watching with JT on this one. He broke this down. So I'm just borrowing this from him. Y'all make sure y'all go check out his channel. But take a listen just to hear his tax liability.
For the additional Medicare tax. This money goes to fund the Affordable Obamacare. By side of how Coach Prime's JSU salary versus his CU salary will be taxed. As we see with income tax, it's $74,221. With Social Security, it's $9,114, and with Medicare tax, it's $5,250. His new salary will be taxed at $2,141,164 of income tax, the same $9,114 for Social Security, but a whopping $136,850 for Medicare tax.
Okay, so I show that to say that, hey, we can clearly see that this was from a financial standpoint. If we're just talking about on his face, if we're just talking about financial moves that were made, it's definitely a smart financial move. And the other thing is, this is actually a trend in the business world. But the fastest way to get promoted, and this is for all you out there, is to leave from one job to the next. Once you start a job and you start working somewhere, you're going to get slow increment pay raises. You may get some bonuses, but the best way to really maximize your earning potential is to put yourself on the market and see what the market bears for your experience and for your skill set. So if you want to get promoted and your job not promoting you, you know who will pay you more money? Another company. That's just kind of the name of the game. So from a financial standpoint, I definitely think it was a smart move. From a standpoint of being a father and wanting the best for his sons play sport. His goal is he want to put his sons in a position. If their dream is to get to the NFL, how can I help my boys get to the NFL? Put them on a much bigger stage against tougher competition to prove that these guys got the skill to make it in the next level. So I definitely understand that completely. The other thing is, like, what do y'all really expect? Do people really expect him to just, because you work somewhere and you believe in the organization or the company and you believe in their values, that don't mean that you're beholden to them and that you owe them your entire effort to work there indefinitely? Because let's flip this role. You mean to tell me if Coach Prime would have went there and would have been a terrible coach, you think JSU would have kept him around for that long? They would have kept him around if money was coming in. But the reason that he has this ability to leave is because he was actually good at his job. Let you go to a job, and if you're good at your job, you know what'll happen. You can put yourself out on the market, and somebody else will hire you. If you go to your job and you suck, like, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna care. Go ahead, put your name in the market, see what you get, because you're terrible. We want to get rid of you anyway. So Deion Sanders, even though he started to put a light on HBCUs and some of the disparities in the funds and the equipment and the national television broadcast, I think he met that goal. I think he put more eyes on HBCU. Y'all saw the statistics. He more than doubled the revenue from the Jackson. Hey, the Chamber of Commerce said, hey, because of this guy more than doubled the revenue of local businesses in the area. It says $7 million to $16 million. That's more than doubling the revenue. So I think that he held up his end of the bargain with regard to what he wanted to do. And I don't think he's leaving Jackson State in a terrible position. Jackson State has someone who's going to come in. They're coming from the Deion Sanders, Coach Prime tree. They're going to still be able to instill those same values. Hey, he may not have the economic pool to be able to get all of these brands and everything, but I think just as far as coaching, the level of and quality of training that these young men are going to get, I think that they're going to be in a really good position. It's funny because I was telling someone, and me and my boy was talking about it. I'm gonna tell y'all how I knew when Deion Sanders wasn't going to stick around. I saw this clip. This was in 2021 after his school won a really big bowl game. Okay, so everybody who just tuning in, Deion's leaving a historically black college to go coach at a bigger college in a better division. He's taking his two sons with him, as he should, because he want to get them to the NFL. And he's going from making $300,000 a year, of which he donated over half of his salary back to the school, to making almost $5 million a year. And like I said, the economic impact when he was there at Jackson, they more than doubled the revenue of businesses in the area. And that was statistics that we got from the Chamber of Commerce. Now, this is when I knew Deion Sanders wasn't going to stick around. I kind of knew it already, just because he just was having so much success. And like I said, a lot of times you can make changes from outside of an institute. If he wants to change the landscape of sports and college football for minorities and smaller schools, he actually has a larger platform to do that by coaching at a higher level. Just think about it. Now he's in a position to where, hey, if Jackson State or another smaller school gets their team up to snuff, he can set it up so his school can play these bigger schools and have a much bigger audience. But this was one of the points where I was like, this is some BS. I knew Deion Sanders was pissed, and I could see from his face, I was like, man, this is the type of stuff that'll make somebody who's doing something for damn near free, because he got paid 300 bands, but he donated over half of his salary. This is the type of stuff that'll make you say, screw this job. These people don't appreciate me. So check this video out. It was interesting to see it, but hey, this is some of the stuff that'll, make you say to hell with this place. As soon as I saw this, I was like, this dude not sticking around.
Start off by saying God bless you. Appreciate you and everything. I'm pissed off right now because I had mixed emotions. One, the kids played really well. While the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had all my necklaces. How? So when I talk about quality, raising these standards. That goes for everyone, man. Not just the people on the field, not just the coaches, not just the teachers, not just the faculty, but that's everybody, security in everybody. So how do you think it feels coming back after just teary-eyed because the guys that presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally. And then you go into your locker room, the coach's office digress, and you notice that you don't even have a phone. They call you mama, they call you girl, they call you kids because it's been stolen. You don't even have the Scully hats that you wore here.
Pissed off.
We're gonna find out who did it. Let's flush that. Jackson State, dear love. Wonderful game. Defense played the butts off. Guys, I'm 100. Y'all know how I get down. That pissed me off today. And that, if I know, come on, man, that don't even make sense. So I'm very transparent, and I'm gonna always be transparent with y'all. And I just ask y'all to be transparent people.
Coach, was it only your stuff that was
Only
it?
my stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. God bless you.
Now I thought that was I thought that was a crazy clip because I thought that was a crazy clip for two things. But I remember when I saw that clip in 2001, and I was like, man, this dude pissed off. He's not gonna stick around because that can happen at any institution you go to. The thing is, people have no clue how much money Deion Sanders probably made in his playing career. But they hear that all these athletes now are getting $200 million, $120 million contract. And the fact that he only made about $17 million his entire NFL career, don't nobody give a damn about that because people see an opportunity, which is the crazy thing because this guy strikes me as someone within that institution who had access to get to his room to specifically take his stuff. Let's just think about this. If someone works at JSU, they have access to get into the coach's office. It's probably somebody who was on staff or on payroll or something to that. It's probably somebody who saw this dude in the cafeteria before with the team. This dude wouldn't strike me as somebody who like, hey, man, something happened. Let me hold something. He actually strikes me as a person. If it's someone within the institution, he actually might give it to him. But I knew when I saw that clip, I was like, man, this dude is pissed off at just kind of what's been going on in the full context. So I definitely don't think him leaving, going to another school for a bigger, better opportunity is a strike on his blackness. If anything, I think it puts him in a better position to do more of what he wanted to do. Now he has a venue to put more minority talent on the field. And he already said it. He was like, hey, I want to make sure I have minority talent on the field so I could teach these young men how to play and be better in life. But it's not my job just to take care of the black players. It's my job to take care of all these kids. And so he definitely has the right attitude, I think. Now, I will tell you, he did get a lot of flack and people thought it was funny. People thought it was funny because he did his first press conference. He did his very first press conference with the team, and the team he going to, they terrible. These guys are like 1 in 1,000. This is a pretty awful team because think about it. If the team was good, don't know team that's good want to get a new coach. Good teams keep their coaches for the most part, but I won't even go into that. But for the most part, good team keeps their coaches. So if a team is getting a new coach, you probably suck. They probably terrible. This school is terrible. So he's getting a lot of backlash for this statement that he made. But so far, I don't think is anything to one, who am I to judge or who is anybody to judge what a person's blackness level is or what their contribution is? Because a lot of people who calling Deion Sanders a sellout, if you sat there and asked them, what did you ever do to help minorities in any way? Did you ever hire a minority? Did you ever give a minority an opportunity? Did you donate your time? Did you donate your money? So a lot of people like to sit on the sideline and criticize someone else's contribution. But I think he's made a big contribution, one, to those players, which is clearly true, because those players, I know who didn't steal his wallet, a player, because those players love him, they look up to him. He made a big economic impact on the school. He made a big economic impact on the city, like we saw and like we talked about. And so, I'm just taking a look at the comments real quick. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's one of those things where it just feel like a slap in the face. You know what I mean? When you, as much as he's done for that institution, those kids, donating his salary, I I I love my job. Okay, I'm not donating my salary. Okay, I was like, I'm not donating my salary. Now I'll donate a portion of my salary, but it damn sure won't be over half. Like, nah, Deion and DFD are built completely different. But when I saw that video clip, I could see the frustration on his face, because that's a jacked up feeling for you to pour everything out to those kids, that institution, your time, your money, and after getting a big win, your shit is gone. Like, I thought that was kind of crazy. But he's getting a lot of backlash for this comment. Now, remember, the school he's going to in Colorado is not a historically black college or university. Now, before I even show this clip, let me put HBCUs in context. I'm somebody who, hey, I'm a double Eagle. I went to 2 HBCUs, both Eagles a mascot, and one is going to beat Jackson State University in a few days, but that's a whole nother story. But when we're talking about HBCUs, those were schools that were started because minorities didn't have access to education. Okay. Over the years, the demographics of HBCUs have changed dramatically. I know when I was in school, law school, this was over a decade ago, but it was a historically black law school. Your school is HBCU because it used to be the school for Negroes. But the dynamics was like, it was almost 50-50. It was a very close dynamic. So when you hear the phrase HBCU, they do have a very diverse body of students there. It's not like it's 90% African American. Nah, I just don't see those numbers. I haven't seen those numbers in my experience. I looked it up. Like at JSU, I think it was like a 60-40 split or something to that effect. So that's what we mean when we're talking HBCUs. But Coach Prime got a lot of flack. This is his first time being introduced to the new team, and this was his comment. Now we're going to talk about this real quick. Was it fair or foul? Okay, so think about it. You're a coach. You got your 2 boys on the team, a lot of students who you believe in. Now you're going to go coach a completely new team, higher expectations, much higher salary, and this team already has players on it. But I'm not saying the players suck, but I'm gonna say collectively as a team, the team sucks. And so this was his. I want to show y'all this clip, and y'all let me know, was this fair or foul? I think it was fair, but y'all let me know y'all take.
No crime, beautiful city, beautiful state. We've never had nothing of sort to work on anything. Our kids would go absolutely crazy to be in the situation that you in. But you don't respect. Okay. You don't want it. Okay. Some of y'all don't even think you deserve it. Okay. And usually when God sends me to a place, he sends me to a place to be a conduit of change. Okay. Uniforms may not even look like they look now. Your place, I guarantee it's gonna be some special time. We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. It ain't gonna be no more of the mess that these wonderful fans, the student body, and some of your parents have put up with for probably 2 decades now. I'm coming. And when I get here, it's gonna be changed. So I want y'all to get ready to go ahead and jump in the portal and do whatever you're gonna get. Because the more you jump in, the more room you get. Because we bring kids that are smart, say that, smart, tough, fast, disciplined, and character. One more time. Smart, tough, That's this one. Okay. That's the one we're going to get. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?
All right, so in that clip was a little low, so I hope hopefully y'all could hear it. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Yeah, you have to earn your keep. I mean, think about it. I'm gonna be real. Anytime I did that when I've had leadership positions and I would go somewhere and meet someone and I'd be like, damn, that person is an asset. And you know what I would do? I would be like, I'm gonna hire that person, and I would steal them away from another external partner who I know. I know all the bosses over there, but I was like, no, I want your employee. I can give her or him more money. If I can take someone who's gonna better whatever organization in my team, that's what the hell I'm going to do. So I agree with that. I think it was 100% fair. And then the other thing too is these are college kids, but college is supposed to train you for being an adult. Part of being an adult is understanding that, you gotta get down with the program or get up out of here. Get down or lay down. Like nobody got time for someone who, if you're setting the culture, sometimes setting the culture comes with making cuts of people who've been around forever. I remember once I took over a position, it was a leadership position, and it was just a culture of doing just enough to get by, doing the bare minimum. And I was like, to hell with that. I'm not doing that. Nah, I don't give a damn. I don't care how long you've been there. You're not entitled to anything. The only thing that entitles you to something is your work ethic that you put in. That's how you build an organization. That's how you build a culture. You got it started from the top. So I agree with everything that you said, Insomniac. But it's just crazy that people, and there's one more clip that I got. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But I think it's crazy that a lot of people are out there talking about this dude and his lack of blackness for what he's done, and they probably haven't done shit. Pardon my language, but everybody who think they down for the cause, just because you got a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, you probably don't even know where that money went to, because that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. But two, just because you listen to pro-black music and wear Black Lives Matter t-shirts, you don't have the ability, or nobody does, to question what someone else's commitment is to the culture or to a particular cause. And then the other question is, what's on your resume? What did you do? Did you volunteer? Are you donating? Did you put somebody in the position when you were on and able to put somebody in a position to succeed or have more, do more? Did you do that? I know me from experience. I remember my second job as an attorney, I was like the only minority there. I was like, man, this is crazy. How am I in a city called Chocolate City and there are no minority attorneys here? And I'm talking about, like, I think it was one woman, but it was primarily old white guys. That was primarily what the landscape is. And I'm like, man, this is DC, Chocolate City. You think it would be minority attorneys every corner you go, but that's not what it was. So fast forward, from being the newest attorney there, fast forward 2 or 3 years later, hey, I'm running this entire division. I made it my purpose to bring in diversity when it came to the attorneys. I wanted women, I wanted minorities, because those numbers are whack. So you got to have people in positions to be able to make those changes. And it's funny because I just pulled up some statistics. Take a look at this, and this is the breakdown of attorneys. And I was like, think about it. Like, this was why I didn't see it. I was like, and I got jaded because I came from a place because where I was at in North Carolina, there was a HBCU law school there and other institutions. I saw minority attorneys every time I turned a corner. The chief public defender, the chief district court judge, the chief superior court judge. So I had got jaded because it was just so commonplace, but that was only in that one area. when I came to DC, it was a culture shock. When I got up here and actually started practicing the law, most of the time I'm probably the only minority in the room. And it's crazy because statistically, those numbers, chocolate city, well, hey, depends on what kind of chocolate you're talking about. But depends on what kind of chocolate you talk about. But I was out for the attorneys. And so, I say that to say that, when you're in a position to be able to make change, you have to make an effort to make change. And for me, that was making sure that my staff was diverse. I want my staff to be representative of whatever the culture is. If I'm in a city and it's 30% Hispanic, 22% this, 22% that, I want my staff to be consistent with the demographics of the city, because if I got a diverse staff, that only makes me much better as an organization. It makes my team that much better because I'm getting all the information from other statistics. And so, hey, Prime is in a position to win. But take a look at these attorney statistics that are out here. What's going on, sis? Thanks for tuning in. Look at these attorney statistics just to see. And of course, I was jaded because I came from a place where everywhere I look, I saw a minority attorney. But this is the breakdown for attorneys that you see in this pie chart. Okay, white attorneys, 79.8%. Hispanic or Latino, 6.9%. Asian, 5.8%. Black or African American, 5.4%. Unknown, 1.9%. Excuse me. And American Indian, Alaskan Native, less than 1 percentage point. So, there are changes that need to be effectuated at all sorts of levels. But when I was a line attorney, I didn't have any authority or enough leverage to make changes to get more diverse staff. When I was a deputy director, I didn't have enough pull to get more diversity in my staff because those choices were outside of my purview. But once I got that opportunity, I did what I needed to do to make sure we had a diverse staff. And I think that's the same thing that Deion Sanders is doing. And so it's interesting because they actually asked, I know it's probably crazy. Yeah, it's a lot. It's not it's very few and far between. And the interesting thing for those attorney numbers, I looked, those numbers haven't grown since 2011. Here we are, 11 years later, 2022. I mean, we got all sorts of electric cars and all of this other crazy stuff, virtual reality world, and the number of African American attorneys is the same as it was over a decade ago. But that's across the board, not just for African Americans, for all the other segments that were identified as well. So I thought it was interesting. Let me see. I think I got one more clip because they actually asked Deion. I thought this was funny about people attacking his blackness, so to speak. Which again, I already told y'all that's kind of goofy. Give me 1 second. I see I can't do two things at once. I can't talk. I can't talk and type. It's crazy, but it's funny. Let me see. I think I found the clip of it. Hopefully there's not too much commentary from a third party. Let me see if I can pull it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna pull this up real quick so we could just hit an audio from this. And let's see what Prime had to say about people, calling him a sellout because he's going from an historically black college to coach at a bigger institution, which is more opportunity. And I thought this was interesting.
He's a Pro Bowler. He was an All-Star baseball. He's a good coach. I have Coach Prime on the phone, and I appreciate you, Coach Prime, for giving me this opportunity to ask this question. The internet has went crazy since last night when you announced that you were leaving Jackson State, and the people want to know like that. That's saying that, Prime.
Give me a sec. Man, I can't find it. This look like something. This look like it's gonna be something goofy. But in short, I go ahead and paraphrase it. But in short, he's mirroring exactly what I'm saying. Who are people out there to question his blackness for him taking an opportunity? Especially, I'm sure he realized that he can do more for whatever cause or agenda he wants to push if he has a bigger platform. Trust me, you can make a lot more change in anything you want to do, good or bad, if you make $5 million a year, as opposed to if you make $300,000 a year and you donate the vast majority of it. Like, hey, I think this dude is in a prime position to continue to do what he wanted to do, but also bring awareness to HBCUs, smaller college programs, to show that there is talent out there. And at the end of the day, this dude is just a good guy. So that's just kind of my opinion and take on it. Hey, I just wanted to do a quick video because I saw everybody out there blasting Prime. And like I said, the same people who probably blasting Deion Sanders are the same people who donated to make Kanye West a billionaire. And I don't give a damn about what they got to think, because nobody else determines what your contribution is to any cause. That's something up to you. And don't let anybody else make you think that you aren't doing enough or haven't done enough. You know what I mean? You do what you can do with the time and the ability that and the effort that you want to put in the change you want to cultivate. That's just what it is. And nobody else dictates that. Honestly, they should mind their damn business, but that's a whole nother story. That's it for this video. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hey, bottom line is the financial takeaway from this is do what Deion Sanders did. The fastest way to make way more money is to see what your talent is worth on the marketplace. If you're good in your job, another company will pay you more than any raise that the current job that you're at will likely give you. That's even true for me. I've seen that. I've worked at jobs and I would get slow incremental raises. And I was like, man, this is crazy. I'm not about to work here for 20 years to make amount of money I can't even satisfy my family. So what did I do? I left and another place doubled that. Then what did I do? I left, then another place doubled that. So that's the way to get a promotion. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all take care. Have a blessed one. Peace.